guys, how are you today? It's been quite a couple of weeks, and the news has been quite challenging. Every time we turn around, there's something happening. So today I wanted to share with us about how to choose joy. The concept of joy is a state of being, not to do with happiness, because happiness is about happenings and circumstances. Joy is a state of being, the way you are, no matter whether things are going good or things are going bad. So there's been so many stories in the news that are heartbreaking. We're in the middle of this pandemic right now. The number of people who've lost their lives is so high here. And then we've had a couple of incidents that have been in the news where people have also lost their lives, not related to COVID-19. And it can be really heartbreaking deciding how to maintain your peace, maintain your joy. So I just wanted to share a couple of things with us on how to maintain our joy, how to choose joy. And I use those words carefully because I believe we have a choice whether to stay in a state of funk, whether to stay in a state of negativity, which would be valid right now because of all the stuff that's going on, or we can make the harder choice, which is to choose joy. What does choosing joy look like? Choosing joy is a decision of the mind. It's a decision of the mind because your heart feels what it feels, but your mind needs to have control over that. And you tell yourself, I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing to look at what else could be, what else is, and what else was. In other words, you're looking at the past, the present, and the future through a filter of possibilities and a filter of joy. By joy, I mean finding a moment every day where you can celebrate something good. It doesn't have to be monumental. It doesn't have to be something humongous that happened during the day. But for example, if you figured out a recipe you've been trying for a while, and I'm picking cooking because most of us have been cooking a lot due to the pandemic and being quarantined at home. Let's say you figured out a new way to get around the problem in your computer, your software. You've been trying to work with a couple of things and finally you figured it out. Let's say you figured out a new chord. You've been trying to learn these guitar chords, or you've been trying to learn this song on the piano, or something really basic. You've been trying to clean out this particular room in your house that has created mental clutter in your brain. Because let's face it, when places that we find joy in, if they're cluttered, we end up feeling cluttered too. And that's not something to make us feel guilty about. I'm just saying it feels really good whenever we get rid of clutter, and it can give us a sense of joy. So that could be something that you celebrate. Maybe you managed to finally clean out your garage, like my husband was able to. He has it looking the way he wanted. If you were able to clean out the kids' rooms finally, or get them to do some project that they've put off for months and maybe half a year. So find that moment of joy. And maybe your moment of joy is just looking at, what am I doing for dinner today? Or you're looking forward to a phone call with family members in another city, another state, another country. Maybe you're able to video call with them that you haven't seen them in a while. You're able to chat with them. It could be a text, a phone conversation you're looking forward to with a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. It could be that you're doing an online get-together. Whatever it is, I want to challenge us to find that moment of joy during the day. In this season especially, it's going to be really vital that we figure out for ourselves what actually brings us joy. If I sat down with you and asked you, what brings you pleasure versus what brings you joy? I know those two sound related, but joy is a state of being, yes, but joy is something that would lighten you up, usually no matter what's going on. For a lot of people, they would say music brings me joy. Music tends to be universal. And then it would be, what kind of music brings you joy? And it could be that listening to jazz brings you joy, listening to hip hop, R&B, listening to rap, listening to country music. listening to gospel music, listening to pop music, listening to contemporary music, folk music, indie music, whatever it is that brings you joy through music, go ahead and use it. So as you've seen, I've given us a couple of ideas on how to choose joy. In other words, you're making a deliberate choice during the day. This thing that I'm going through is real. This situation they're talking about is real, but I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing to find the possibility in what is now and the possibility of what's going to be tomorrow. So even when we receive bad news, and it's something that we're not expecting, even when we get negative news, choosing joy in that situation is asking yourself, how does this news make me worse off than I was a minute ago? And that's having a realistic view about it, because you could say, oh, I just got news that I did not get, for example, a contract I was waiting on. Okay, so that means that if that was some income I was counting on, then I'm not getting that contract. All right, so that's bad news. So we're not pretending that did not happen, that did happen. So then choosing joy will be, okay, I'm proud, you're proud of yourself for having applied for that contract, proud of yourself for the information you put together to apply for that contract. So to choose joy would be telling yourself, I'm going to take the same information and see what else is out there. But first, I'm going to take a break right now. You take a break, recover from whatever that process is, however you're feeling through getting that negative news. Take a break right there and recover through it. Process it in your mind, debrief, whatever you need to do. And even if it takes until the next day or maybe during that week, that's fine. But you turn around and you say, okay, so I see a possibility in this. What is the possibility? This is bad news. I didn't get the contract that I wanted. But the way I prepared for that contract, I got to research information that maybe I did not know about myself or my abilities. So what is it about the contract that made them not choose me? Then you can add on whatever it is that was missing. Or you can say, okay, I will take the same information. There are so many other opportunities out there. And we've been talking a little bit about the power of your subconscious mind. When you expect good, your mind, your subconscious mind finds a way to steer you in a direction of where good happens. You've had people talk about self-fulfilling prophecies. What that really means is that your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is a program that imprints with pictures most of the time. So if you have a negative expectation, it believes that you're giving it a command to make that situation occur. And that's not what we're doing. So when we receive negative news, even though we feel negative about it, we feel sad, we feel depressed sometimes, what we need to do then is turn around and have a different impression in our minds. And that's what I'm talking about, choosing joy, deliberately choosing joy, switching it around to, what is my possibility? What is the possibility in this situation later on? So in other words, you're reframing the issue that you're dealing with. You're acknowledging its validity, which is, this situation is real, what happened is real. The next thing is reframing it in another way. I did not get this contract. I will try again, but I didn't get this contract. It wasn't for me. Then you move on. Unless they ask you to correct something, then it's, I'm going to correct and turn in the new project and see what the response is. So the goal is getting us to a place where we're constantly in a state. We've trained our minds, trained our hearts, trained our subconscious mind to find a possibility versus only finding the problem or only sitting in the problem, because that's what gets us into a state of blues. We move from sadness to blues to depression if we sit in that state of the negative news, perception, feeling that we experienced. So choosing joy actually is kind of an antidote in our mind on finding a possibility, so that we don't go down the road of feeling even more depressed about a situation. So thank you for letting me share with you guys today about choosing joy. One of my favorite verses in the Bible for anybody who reads the Bible is Romans 15:13. May the God of peace fill you with all hope and joy. And so that is my saying to you guys today, that I hope you're able to find joy. Most importantly, I hope you get to choose joy. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.